In this video, I'm going to show you the steps for solving a system of equations, specifically linear equations by substitution. Now, to use the substitution method, there are, in my opinion, 4 steps, and these are the 4 steps that I would recommend. Step number 1 would be using the substitution method here, solve one of your equations for one of its variables. So usually you're going to solve for x or y. And the best way to do that would be to pick the variable x or y that has a coefficient of 1 in front of it. So you're going to solve for 1x or you're going to solve for 1y. And here's an example of x being solved or y being solved. Now I think this was a typo here. I think my plus sign and my equal sign got mixed up. So that's what I would just like to fix here. Number 2, substitute the expression then, because now you have x equal to an expression. So you substitute this expression into the other equation for, in this case, letter x. And then what you're going to do is solve for x. Well, you're going to get a value here. And then after you solve for x, you're going to substitute the value you get from step 2 into the other equation from step 1. And then you'll solve for the other letter. And then in the end, what we want to do is always check our work. So I'm going to show you 2 completed examples of substitution. And so first, I'm going to show you just watch, listen, and kind of think about what I'm doing. Notice how one of my equations is already solved for y. So my y, what does y equal? Y equals the same as 1 plus x. So now what I'm going to do is substitute this expression that we see right here into the y. Here's the other equation. So because y equaled, I'm going to substitute this into the y of the other equation, the 2x plus y equals negative 2. So instead, it's going to write now, if I substitute this expression in, 1 plus x. So what I know y is equal to, I sub it into the y of the other equation. Now what I'm going to do is solve for the value of x. And so the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite 2x plus 1 plus x equals negative 2. I'm going to combine my like terms here. I have 2 x's plus 1 more, so a total of 3 x's on the left side of my equation, plus 1 is equal to negative 2. And now to solve for x, I'm going to isolate my x term by subtracting 1 to the other side. And now I'll have 3x is equal to negative 3. Now to solve for my variable, divide by 3 on both sides, and I have the solution, the value of x is equal to negative 1. Now I'm not done yet because what I need to do is solve for both letters, and I've only solved for 1. So now I've solved for x. I'm going to solve for y by plugging the value of 1 into the original or the other. So I used the second one here, so now I'm going to use the first one, the value of x into the first equation. So here's my equation. Y was equal to 1 plus x, and now I'm going to substitute the value that I found in for x into the letter x. So y will equal 1 plus negative 1, which is the number 0. So 0 is equal to my value y. Now I'm going to check my work, and I'm going to check both of the equations that were at the top of the page. So let me first just copy those 2 expressions down here. Y equals my 1 plus x, and then a second one, 2x plus y equals negative 2. So here's my check. Now I know my solution is negative 1 and 0, which would mean the point negative 1 comma 0. I'm going to substitute in for my x value negative 1 and for my y value 0, and I'm going to do both of these equations and check that we have a true statement. If y is equal to 0, I'm going to put a 0 here. 1 plus my x value, which was negative 1. Does 0 equal 1 minus 1? Yes, 0 does equal 0, so that was true. And now we'll check my other equation. 2 times my x value that was here, negative 1, plus my y value here that was 0. Does that equal negative 2? Well, this is going to make negative 2 when I multiply. Is negative 2 plus 0 equal to negative 2? Yes, that's right. So that is true, which means that my x value of negative 1 and my y value of 0 is the solution. Okay, now I'm going to do one more example and show you again. For this one here, I have 3x plus 2y equals 8, and I have x equals negative 4y minus 4. So now what I want to do here is see that I have x already solved for y. So my x is isolated. If x is equal to negative 4y minus 4, I'm going to plug all of this in to the x of the other equation. So my 3x plus 2y equals 8, I'm going to sub all of this into the x of the first equation. So 3 times x, which I know is this, negative 4y minus 4. Then I'm going to just finish this statement here, plus 2y equals 8. Now I'm going to solve for my y. So 3 times negative 4 is negative 12y. 3 times negative 4 is minus 12, plus 2y is equal to 8. Now on the same side of my equation, I have two like terms. I have y term here and a y term there. Negative 12y's plus 2y's is negative 10y. And minus 12 equals 8. Now to solve for my y, I'm going to isolate it by adding 12 to the other side. Now I have negative 10y is equal to 20. And to solve for my y, I'm going to divide both sides by that coefficient of negative 10. So y is equal to 20 divided by negative 10, or negative 2. Now I'm not done yet because I got to solve for my x. Now right here, look at x was equal to negative 4y minus 4. So I can solve for x by plugging the value of this back in to my second function here, my function. All right, if x was equal to negative 4y minus 4, and I now know the value of y, I can substitute that back in to the other equation like I did to find x. X will equal then negative 4 times what I solved for y, negative 2, minus 4. So x would equal negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8, and 8 minus 4 is 4. So here I have my two values. My coordinate is x comma y, or 4 comma negative 2. Now I'm going to check my work with the two solutions that I had at the top of this page. So I'm going to copy these two functions down here at the bottom for my check. I have 3x plus 2y is equal to 8, and my other function here was x equals negative 4y minus 4. So now I'm going to plug in both my x and my y to both functions and just confirm that what I did was correct. So 3 times my value of 4 plus 2 times my value of negative 2, will that equal 8? Well, 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times negative 2 is minus 4. Is 12 minus 4 equal to 8? Yes, that's true. And now again, I'm going to plug in my x value of 4. Does that equal negative 4 times negative 2 minus 4? Or does 4 equal 8 minus 4? Yes, that's also true. So that means the point 4, negative 2 is my solution. And that is an introduction to the substitution method.